Tri-Cities Community Television presents coverage of the 2012 Mayor's BBQ, put on by the Tri-Cities Chamber of Commerce. This year's event was held at Port Moody City Hall and sponsored by Econo Pro.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? You enjoy that meal out there today? Is that good? One question, where was the sunshine of the golf tournament? I mean, how nice would that have been? Welcome tonight to the Mayor's BBQ. My name is Mike Hine. I'm the Executive Director for the Chamber, and I'll be your tour guide for the first part of the evening, and then we're going to introduce somebody else who will take you through the important part. Okay, evenings like tonight aren't possible without some great sponsorship support, so I'd ask Mr. Rick Lebarski, the Business Development Manager from Econo Pro, our title sponsor tonight with the fencing and everything else they do, to come forward and say a few words about Econo Pro. Rick, where are you? Come on up, Rick.
I'm going to make it quick here. What we really like to do is give a real hand to Mike and his team here. They've been more than accommodating with us for any event we've tried to sponsor and support in the Tri-Cities community from business. This whole team's been phenomenal to us. This doesn't happen without people like this, so at the end of the day, we just want to participate in your community and the business that we're in, which is the waste management service, et cetera. As you can see our equipment up here. Thanks again to Mike and his team, because without them, this doesn't happen. Thank you very much.
You're right, that was quick. Oh yeah, he's going to the Calgary Stampede tonight. I think they've got a lot of work going on over there. It's work, right, Rick? It's work, yeah. Couple other thank yous to Mr. Mikes for bringing out Kyle and Mr. Mikes for bringing out the barbecue. Great job tonight. And you didn't have to pay for your drinks, so Kobe Enterprises and Andrew Peller Limited for sponsoring tonight's drinks. Big thanks to them. Our MC for the evening. Greg Garrison is a managing partner of Martin Insurance Brokers Limited, formerly known as Martin Garrison Insurance. They've been a proud member of the Chamber community for over 30 years. Greg is an active member of the Chamber himself and contributes his time by participating as a board member in the Intervisions Recovery Society, and for the past 15 years is a member of the Rotary Club of Coquitlam. And I think he's got a surprise for us tonight, I'm told. I'm not sure what it is. I'm a little scared. So without any further ado, Mr. Greg Garrison. Greg.
It's so great to have Mayor Moore and Mayor Stewart back, and welcome to Mayor Mike Clay to be able to be part of this event for the first time. Fantastic. Mike, go ahead.
Go ahead. Is that the honor of going first or the curse of going first?
No, it was all a random draw. There's a whole bunch of cards with Mike in here, but
so we're in Port Moody, and alphabetically I go first, so either way I'm going first anyhow, I guess. So I wanted to thank everybody, of course, for coming, and thank Richard and Greg for dropping by Port Moody. It's a fairly rare occasion when they actually come down here. I saw Richard earlier driving around in circles around Newport Village going, where's City Hall? It was... And I wanted to thank Rick from Econo Pro for bringing down the cage match for later. That's, again, very exciting for all of us. I think they said, oh, make your, tell something about how much you love the Chamber and what you're doing with the Chamber. So we love the Chamber, and we're doing a lot with them. And we actually, and I have to say honestly, we value the relationship with the Chamber and with all of you. And it's so great to see more Port Moody businesses in the Chamber. It's something that we've been, since we lost our two sort of business associations, have been really looking for a way for them to get involved and to be able to have the bringing people together and working on the common goals that we have as businesses and working with the city to. It's always very difficult when you don't have a group to interface with, you know, that we're getting scattered messaging and different people that have different things they want to do. And anytime the Chamber can pull together and pull all of you people together so that we can talk to a group and we can get common messaging and move things forward in a really positive manner is very helpful, and we really do appreciate the value that's in that. So in Port Moody, of course, we're embarking on our centennial year. I'm wearing the shirt here to celebrate our centennial year, as is POCO. I guess we came around in the same year, strangely enough. And we're really looking forward to that. We have a number of events planned, and sort of our preemptive event coming up on July the 26th to the 29th. I have in my hand here is our first Art Youth Festival, which we're the City of the Arts, and we're the city that celebrates our youth, so we're bringing those two things together. And we hope that we have the local business support for that event and for everything that we're doing next year. You only turn 100 once as a city, and probably most of us won't ever turn 100 as a person, so we're very much looking forward to that. Since I've been on moving from council to being in the mayor's office, I really appreciated these two guys and all of our councils and the stuff that we're doing together, and I know that you will as well, the benefits that we can bring forward working together. Pre-amalgamation, yeah, I know you guys, somebody out there is going to ask us about amalgamation, so we'll just take care of that one right now. Richard won't allow it, so he won't allow it unless we guarantee that he can be the mayor of the amalgamated Tri-Cities, and none of us want that to happen, so it's, but we are working, and these two are really great people for me to work with, and all of our councils, and you know, we all know each other quite well. We all talk to each other a lot, and I think that we're all looking forward to moving together as the Tri-Cities, as we always have to, because, you know, the residents and the businesses here span the Tri-Cities. So I'll wrap that up at that point, and thanks again for coming.
I got to say, first of all, it's great to have Mike Clay working with us, and I suspect Greg will say similar things about Mike. Mike's we compared notes ahead of time, and we thought it would be more magnanimous if we pretended that Mike's really good to work with and that sort of thing. So thanks for having us. And I want to thank our sponsor. I assume there's a portable washroom behind the fence. And I want to thank the Coquitlam restaurant that served the dinner. Ultimately, our relationship with the Chamber of Commerce, my own relationship with the Chamber of Commerce goes back about 25 years. When I first joined the Chamber, I've been a member pretty much ever since. I think the Chamber has a lot to offer, and I think we as communities have a lot more to offer the Chamber of Commerce and our business community than we have in the past. I think there's room for improvement in that regard. Coquitlam is going to try to, as much as we can, continue to foster a better relationship with the Chamber of Commerce and with the business community. This year, Council made the step of expanding the annual tax shift. We've been doing 3/4 of a point every year, tax shift from commercial to residential, to try to reduce that enormous gap that exists in communities across the Lower Mainland. This year we expanded it from 3/4 of a point to a full point, which seems small, but nonetheless it was a sign, we think, to local businesses that we are committed to getting there. We need to find a better way of balancing the way in which our communities are financed by business by and large. There's many other things that we can do as a community, among them the kinds of investment in tourism, investment in economic development, an investment in infrastructure that helps. For example, in Coquitlam, we have a fiber optic network underneath our streets that allows local business to connect with almost unlimited bandwidth to communities around the world. And that is a real competitive advantage that we hope that will allow our businesses to thrive. But in the end, it's got to be about the relationship. We have been cutting through some red tape. We've been trying to foster a better working relationship with business. And I want to say, as I close, that the main advantage that Coquitlam has is we have a much better city council than the other two communities. And I'll stop there.
Thank you, Richard.
Although I would welcome one of the 100th anniversary shirts from either Port Coquitlam or Port Moody.
Yeah, there's one coming. I'll get one of our councilors to get one over to you. Just moving on.
I know, those are pretty tall stools. You got to be careful with that. Mr. Moore.
Thank you. First, I just want to thank the Chamber for continuing to do this, and it's a great opportunity to have a good dialogue, and I think we do have a good dialogue outside it tonight, but it's always fun, I think. I want to agree with what Mike and Richard said, you know, and our councils. Frankly, we've got together as 3 Tri-City councils twice now. That's probably 2 more times than we have in the 100 years that we've been as cities. So we really are trying to work hard on working together and listen to each other and figure out where we can share and collaborate on some good things. So we're doing that now, which we haven't done before, and I think that's a really great sign as we move forward. I'll probably answer some of the things that we're doing in Port Coquitlam. I thought I would take this time to talk about amalgamation. It comes up every year. I think I've come to this, I don't know, however many years, but even prior to me being mayor, and it comes up. I would love if someone comes up and doesn't just ask the question, why don't you amalgamate, but says, you should amalgamate because this research somewhere shows that it actually saves money, is more efficient, is better for business and residents, is something. I know I'm being a little critical, but we get it every time.
I've done my research. Amalgamation doesn't make sense. If you look at the last 15 amalgamations that happened in the United States, forget the Ontario examples that are blatant enough of why not to do it. But if you look at the amalgamations that happened in the United States, the last 15 of them, the cities within that area, within that state that amalgamated, their taxes on average are 57% higher, on average, within the same state as other cities. So the research and the data of why not to amalgamate is there. And I'm open, as I've said in the past, and I think I would think these guys are, because they're open and want to have good conversations and debates about everything, is let's have the discussion and have the debate, but let's have it on the facts. Let's put some solutions out there. Because we do work together as municipalities, as I explained in the beginning. We do share resources. We do share purchasing power. We do share all of our utilities. That's what Metro Vancouver Regional District is. We share making clean water. We share getting rid of the sewage. We share getting rid of the garbage at the end of the day. So we do amalgamate a lot of our services together, but I think what we don't amalgamate is the things that make the character out of our community. I love being Port Coquitlam. I frankly don't want to be Coquitlam. I think you guys do a great job, and I think Port Moody does a great job. But we have a unique attribute, I think, about Port Coquitlam as Coquitlam and Port Moody do. And I think that sense, a little bit of sense of competition that we have as well, that I want to be better than every other municipality in BC, is a good thing. I want to do it in a way that I can collaborate and share after we've got good results, or frankly after we failed a little bit, just so that the other municipalities, including our neighbors here, don't go down that same path. But if we amalgamated, we might not do that. And finally, if we amalgamated, we probably, if the theory goes that is always presented, we would maybe have the cheapest taxes. In that sense, then Vancouver should have the cheapest taxes in the province of BC. They don't. They got the third highest. So the economies of scale argument doesn't necessarily work there. So I wanted to throw that out there because we always get the question and we always then take a long time to answer it, and hopefully that clarifies my view on it anyways. But bring out the reports, let's have a discussion and a debate about it, and let's get on to the questions.
How about annexation?
You know what? We left Coquitlam 100 years ago and haven't looked back.
The only way to look is forward, Greg.
And we're a better community for it. Thank you. Yes. Come on.
On that note, maybe we can
let's close the caging.
Yeah. Talk about moving forward. So we're going to start with a question right off the bat. I think, Richard, you're going to ask the first question. Is that correct? Julian, you got the mic? Kate?
Well, where did you get that shirt?
No, he's got the first question. That's the second question.
Is this on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, guys. This is probably about the 6th year that I've been asking. This is as policy chair for the chamber, and I'm not going to ask a question about taxation this time. I want to ask a question about industrial land use, and it's really come to our attention in the chamber because of the challenges that the United Boulevard businesses have faced over the last short while, largely for legitimate reasons. But the question is, if you look at your communities, and this is to all three of you, if you look at your community's present industrial land base, how important is it to you personally as a leader in your community to make sure that that industrial land base is preserved for industrial use in the future and doesn't fall prey to other uses, residential, et cetera? How committed are you to preserving industrial land?
Do you want to start in reverse order?
Whatever you like.
Sure. So in Port Coquitlam, we're very committed to it. We locked in our Maryhill Industrial Park, which is, on a per acre basis, one of the largest industrial parks within a city, because we're not a big geographical city. But we locked it in not only with our own OCP, but with the regional, the RGS. Regional Growth Strategy, thanks, with Metro Vancouver. So if we want to remove any land out of our industrial area, and that's the part that's left in the Dominion Triangle, as well as the Maryhill Industrial Park, we actually have to go to Metro Vancouver and get the regional district board of directors to pass it by, I think, a 2/3 vote. So that locks it in as much as agricultural land. That's how important it is.
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the big conflicts that we're going to see in the next decade, I suspect, is going to be conflict over industrial land. The regional growth strategy that Greg just mentioned actually took on a new point of view. This particular time, the last time the Liberal region was primarily about green spaces. This time it added the industrial component because we do really need to find a way to preserve the industrial land that we've lost in Vancouver, we've lost it in Burnaby. Essentially that industrial land now in the suburbs has to be retained in order that the job creation aspects of this region are supported. Ultimately, though, industry will look different in the next decade. In the coming decades, industry won't be a smokestack. It'll be higher tech, perhaps. It'll be other kinds of industry. But we, along the United Boulevard, for example, have great investments. The King Edward Overpass, for example, trying to reconnect United Boulevard and our major industrial lands to the transportation networks. We'll find over the next couple of years, I suspect, that the pressure on United Boulevard for industry will be enormous because it is now in the center of the Lower Mainland from the point of view of geography, but also from the point of view of the number of transportation routes that cut through our industrial land that make it so that we're more connected. United Boulevard will be about 30 minutes from anywhere in the Lower Mainland by truck route, and that's a real advantage.
You got the bell.
30 more seconds, if you want.
Mike. Thanks, Richard. We were a smokestack town. We were a refinery and sawmill town in Port Moody, and we're not anymore. And Richard just touched on it. It's the changing face of industry that we're struggling with. Our industrial lands now, we had a fair amount that's already been converted. It's called Klahani now and Sutterbrook and such, where we had major industry. But what we have left, we have a lot of small parcels on Murray Street and such that are zoned as industrial land that just aren't realistic in the society we're living in today. The 8,500 square foot lot isn't going to support a manufacturing plant or something like that. So we're trying to identify what is the new industry. And I use the term employment providing land. We want jobs in our community. We're working to get jobs, to attract jobs in our community so that people don't have to commute, because we all know what a mess that is in the Tri-Cities. So we want to keep people working as close to home as we can and keep those jobs in Port Moody. Now, we have two massive industrial sites. I was at Petro-Canada yesterday, 436 acres. And that land is grossly underutilized. But, they own the land. They're maintaining their operations there. And they're going to continue to be there for some time. IOCO, on the other hand, wants to develop, but we don't have the transportation infrastructure to service them even if they did want to develop. So right now, we're in sort of a holding pattern on our industrial land. We don't want to get rid of it. But we also need to identify that high-tech business and new, clean, green industry is the type of business that we're trying to attract. So we're looking at ways that we can change the Metro Vancouver sort of outlook on what industry means. And Greg, in POCO, they allow climbing gyms and gymnastic studios in their industrial lands, which is, a good use of their land while they don't have other industry to fill it. So those are the things that we're working on here.
Who has a question? Mr. Woodward.
My question is for Richard Stewart. Richard, I'm not sure that this is fair to just ask you and not the whole council, but would you be willing to open the debate of self-serve gas stations only in Coquitlam?
Personally, I support the idea that the market can choose on these things as long as there is both available. One of our big challenges in Coquitlam, for example, is that there is no gas available from 10 p.m. until 6 in the morning because no one's going to let that teenager gas jockey go out there in the middle of the night and pump gas because we prohibit self-serve gas stations. That's a holdover from the 80s. The decision was made a couple of decades ago, and quite frankly, I'd love to see us start with the idea that from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. you could have self-serve gas stations. I don't think the sky falls when we allow the consumer to choose. When we allow businesses to choose how that operates. And quite frankly, half the time I have to get out and pump my own gas anyway because there's no one there to serve you at the full serve stations.